Hi, Michelle Minori. Welcome to my tiny kitchen. I'm making a grilled watermelon salad with some sardines, actually, and lots of fresh herbs and a salsa water, if you will. Kind of like the essence of salsa in a bowl of salad. Inspired by a dish that I made on Top Chef that won me a quick fire. I personally love salads. I think they're a really fun way to surprise people, especially if you're doing like a barbecue or something. Everything's really heavy. A salad is like, kind of like bright and fresh and should pretty much steal the show. So I'm going to show you one that I like to make. This salad has kind of like some Mexican flavors, some Asian flavors. You know, we live in a melting pot, so why not take flavors from lots of different cuisines and put them together? That's what I like to do. So the first thing you want to do is make a vinaigrette for your watermelon. I have a quarter of a watermelon here. I just cut it into like 1-inch pieces. And I happen to have yuzu juice at home, which is like a nice Japanese citrus, but you could just use lime juice. That's perfectly fine. So I'm going to use about 2 tablespoons of lime juice. Well, let's do 3. Let's do 3 tablespoons.
You're crazy.
You want it to be really bright and acidic. Just a pinch of salt. Whenever you have that acidity, you need some sugar to balance it out. So I am personally using palm sugar. I have about a tablespoon here. You know, if your watermelon doesn't seem sweet enough, you could always use more sugar. When I won the quick fire, I actually compressed the watermelon and I made a syrup with lemon verbena and lemongrass and some mint. So I'm not gonna do that today. That's kind of a lot, and I'm not gonna compress this, so we're just gonna let it soak in. I'm just stirring up the palm sugar to dissolve in the lime juice, and if you have yuzu, I really suggest you use it. It smells amazing. It's like a flower and all the citruses put together. Okay, I also happen to have white soy sauce. If you don't have that, just use regular soy sauce, or maybe you could do ponzu or something. I'm gonna do...
Why white soy sauce? What's like the difference between less salty than regular soy sauce, or just...
No. Taste it. It's pretty salty. Another really salty thing that I like to use is fish sauce. We have fish in our salad, so this is going to add that nice umami flavor. About a half a tablespoon. It's also going to add a little bit of that natural oil from the fish. Okay, so we have our vinaigrette. We're just going to pour this onto the watermelon. Really love the yuzu. So let's let it marinate while we make our salsa water. Cool. That's it. Pause. Ready? Okay, so this watermelon is not soaking up the juice as well as I wanted it to, but I'm finding that if I poke it with a little toothpick, all the juice just goes right in there. So yeah, after you pour it on, just poke it. Okay, that's fine. We'll let that do its thing. So now I'm going to make a salsa water. If you've never heard of it, that's because I made it up. It's basically kind of reminds me of the flavors you find in the bottom of a bowl of salsa. And if you don't drink that, well, then that's your problem, because that's like the best part. Use everything, right? Okay, so I have some scallion bottoms, the white part, that's where all the onion flavor is. Toss that in a blender with about 2 tomatoes. I'm going to use some cilantro to garnish my salad, so I'm taking the stems now to add all the flavor to our salsa water. And a chili. I took a red Fresno and I diced it into little cubes here, and then all the scraps are going in there with another Fresno. So, you know, try and use your scraps for everything. That's really important. And just the juice of 1 lime. We don't need a ton of acidity because we've got it on the watermelon. And we saved a little bit of vinaigrette for later. But we want all the flavors of a salsa in here because that's what we're going for. So squeeze all that in there and add just a pinch of salt, which helps break down everything and also helps season your water. So I'm just gonna blend this. I'm gonna pulse it like 4 or 5 times just so it gets a little chunky. I just finished blending it. It's like pretty chunky. I just have a little bowl here with a strainer. I just put a little bit of cheesecloth here to kind of help me strain out some of the pulp. You can let it hang out here. All that juice should be straining out into the bottom. I've made something like this before, so maybe I didn't make it up, but I want to take credit for this. Ooh, see? It smells really good, right?
It does.
It smells like a garden. It smells like summertime. You could probably save all this stuff and turn it into a salsa if you cook it down a little bit. I'm gonna use it.
Can you make it into a chip?
Taste bad. Ooh, you could dehydrate it. And it would still be kind of like zesty from the acid.
Yeah.
Cool. Or we can make salsa powder. Whoa. Okay, so I'm gonna grill the watermelon. The grill is really hot. I'm gonna brush it with just a little bit of avocado oil, just enough to like barely glaze it. And yeah, it's gonna smoke up. But just put the watermelon down and let it sit there for a minute or 2 on each side. But it's gonna get smoky in here.
We probably have about 2 minutes before the fire alarm goes off.
In my experience, it's not that long. So just let it sit there. You want it to get really hot and charred. And we'll get those nice grill marks. And then we'll flip it over and do the same thing on the other side.
So can I ask you about some Top Chef questions now?
Depends.
How much time do you have to decide like what you do for those like quick fire challenges?
Well, I will say, because somebody already publicly announced this, but you get your challenge and then production team takes you aside and you have to agree that you understand everything. So during that whole process, it takes about 10 minutes on average. So while you're talking and discussing and signing paperwork, you can kind of think about your dish a little bit more. But at that point, you still don't know really what's in the pantry or what's in the coolers. So you could have one idea in your head, but if that doesn't really correlate to what is available to cook with, it might not work. So you really have to be able to think on the fly and be flexible and creative in a really tense situation with very little time in a massively sized kitchen that you've not really cooked in before. So quick fires are not easy, but they're definitely fun.
They kind of made note on the show that you plan to do a dish with watermelon, yet you didn't grab a watermelon.
That's right. Brian and I had the same idea to do compressed watermelon, and while we were shopping, his long arms grabbed that before I could. And so I rolled the dice and asked him later, since we were standing next to each other, and he's such a nice guy, gave me half his watermelon. So I'm going to interrupt for a moment.
Okay.
Because I'm seeing some charred grill marks here on the bottom, and I can see that the watermelon is kind of changing its shape to my pan, which means there's probably a good chance there's some nice grill marks under there. I'm using a fish spatula to get under here. Oh yeah, that looks nice. I'm just gonna flip that over. I think the hardest part of this whole dish is successfully grilling a watermelon. Look at that, nice char marks.
That is beautiful.
Just flip it. Nice, that's what you're looking for. Okay, so I had the watermelon in the fridge just to cool down a little bit. And before I cut that up, I just want to season the sardines. I think I might have been a cat in a past life because I really love canned fish. I'm using a little bit of the leftover vinaigrette. And I have some Hawaiian pink salt here and just some cracked pepper. I really love also using furikake, which is like a spice blend. So So I'm just putting some right there on top of the fish, which is a great snack all on its own. Okay, so our watermelon's cooled down. Just cut it into bite-sized pieces, and I just left the rind on just so it's easier to work with, but no one's gonna eat the rind, so just get rid of the rind. I mean, you could pickle it or give it to your dog. Dogs love that. Just want to taste it.
Dogs love watermelon rinds?
Yeah, it's a great snack for dogs.
Oh shit, no way. Michelle, you always have such random fun facts.
Isn't that cool? I know. So there's a use for everything. But you know, the challenge that I won, the quickfire one, was all about amuse bouche, which is just like a short way
What does that mean?
basically say fun in your mouth. Some will say, I guess. Has been translated to that in the past. So this is just like a nice little fun bite to kind of open your palate and get you excited for what's to come. So I'm gonna plate one as an amuse bouche and another one just as a salad. I'll put it here so you can see. So we're just gonna put some of our nicely grilled watermelon down in the bowl. Be generous. There's a time to be fancy and there's a time to just like serve good food, you know? Okay, so I'm just gonna do a little piece here. Let's see, in my quickfire, I did a ceviche actually. I'm gonna do this middle piece. It's like a little more chunky and fat. I did a ceviche that I marinated with soy and yuzu. So we have the same flavors, but just different style fish. I'm gonna add brunoise of chili. If you could just pan out to this salsa water situation for a second. I turned my back for 1 minute and left the cameraman, Eduardo, with some of our little chirps, and the salsa part actually disappeared, which means it tasted really good, so that's nice. So it makes a great little snack for when you're working. So this is a salsa water. If you put it over the white, maybe you can see it better, but you know, tomato has like natural pectins and stuff in it. You can tell, see? It's like become a little gelatinous almost. Isn't that crazy? Can I jiggle it? That's actually why tomato is used to help clarify a consommé. It's got that gelling property. Cool. So I also have the green part of the scallion. I'm just gonna cut a little bit of that. A little garnish. Don't cut your finger off. That was fast. Thanks. Do a little bit of scallion. Got a little bit of cilantro and some really beautiful mint. One of the cilantro flowers, and we're just gonna put it right on top. A little amuse bouche of grilled watermelon with a yuzu and white soy vinaigrette and sardines. It's beautiful.
What would you do if you want to like fill out this salad a little more? Like, let's say you got like extra friends came over.
I would just get some really beautiful tomatoes and cut those up and put some vinaigrette on that. Maybe some shaved red onion. I really love crunchy things on salad, so some fried shallots or you know, some toasted sunflower seeds or something. Maybe some cucumbers, that would be great. You know what? There's no rules when it comes to salad, so just find something you like and throw it together. And then when you're done, you can just drink the juice. Mmm. Yum. It tastes like the garden, really. So many great smells in here. Don't mind me.
I think that's hilarious. You go straight for the juice.
That's the best part. It'd be better if we could.
Let me try with those cricket chips.
Okay, try.
Oh, they're tiny. I guess crickets are small. Those are the best cricket chips I've ever had. Trevor's.
Oh, cool. Mmm. Yeah. Fresh.
Oh, damn.
I know.
It's just great salsa.
Salsa's easy, man. It's adorable. It's an adorable little chip.
This could be a, what is it, bouche and bouche?
Amuse bouche.
Amuse bouche.
Seriously, that's like the perfect chip for an amuse bouche. Chips and salsa. Where were these on Top Chef? I like those cookie chips.
Buds.
It's the future. I'm okay with being a proponent now,
Okay.
but like in the future, I would like some money for it.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Looking good. Looking good.
Get back right along.
All right. The ingredients are also really natural. There's only corn, oil, the cricket flour, and barbecue spice. There's like no weird preservatives or anything in here.
Good.
Really, the whole bag. Chips. Adorable and tasty. Okay, I'll just put these back.